Actually, we're building two flatbed. I thought I'd just hop on, maybe do like a 30-minute live. It's the last 2 weeks. Um, Last week we were supposed to be building this bed. As far as building went, this is a 9-foot bed, 8 foot wide. It's going on a dually. It's got 2 storage boxes up front and a hitch. It's going on that red Cummins. We have the truck sitting here. Yep, 9 foot exactly. It's a beautiful bed. It's coming along great. Honestly, I think it is. Ooh, that's sharp. So far, kind of actually one of my favorites. It's just been rushed. It's actually, when I was in high school, I had a second gen. It was just a gas gen Dodge pickup, and I have loved. The only kind of crummy thing is he doesn't have his new wheels on it yet. So in our pictures, it's old nasty rims on it. But all in all, it's gonna be a really nice bed. 37-inch rail. It's gonna go right over his rails, and then we'll get it mounted. As we're sitting right now, for a week. And then, so how it worked out was then I had 2 beds sitting here that were ready to build. So I'm actually building 2 beds at once. So everything's cut out for the second bed, which will make it a lot easier next week. So he'll be picking this truck up Monday or Tuesday. It's Wednesday now. Tomorrow we get it welded out, then it can go off, get blasted and painted, and then it can come back, get the lights, and get installed. So I think we're in good shape. Tomorrow will just be a big day. This is all tacked, so I'll come out. The thing we have to do with those is the doors. So tomorrow is going to be a not a super fun day, but it's gonna be what it is, I guess. It's gonna be an early morning, hood down, and only take half a day, but then it needs a few days for the paint to really cure. So we'll probably Friday, Saturday let the paint cure. Sunday we'll be able to, finish installing it. Or start installing it. We can get the truck pretty much ready to go. Yeah, it's just kind of how it's going to be. And then the good thing is next week when we start the next build, everything's already cut. So where this bed is right now, on the next one, I'll be able to get this far in the first day easy. Probably actually farther. So that will kind of save a lot of time, and that one isn't due until he's going to pick it up Christmas Eve, because it's a Christmas present for his daughter. They run a horse farm business, and it's a surprise for her. So they go away to her husband's house, and then they get back, and the truck will be switched over for him. So that will be pretty cool. It's pretty exciting. And then the week of Christmas, I don't know what we're going to do. We might get on those boxes. We might do some work on our house, because there's a lot of work that kind of needs done on our house. It'd be nice to come out here and work in the shop too, but we'll see how everything goes, how far we get and whatnot. So yeah, tomorrow, Thursday, whew, boy, we have a big Thursday ahead of us. Welding out what's here it's really probably only going to take an hour. This top sheet, it's just the 2 corners that need clipped. The back sheet, the back corners it's cut down the length, the back corners need clipped, and then the box needs in, and then we need to trim out the box. So that's not going to be a super big deal, but it will be somewhat of a big deal. Just things to do. I'm hoping what you see here I can have welded out in about I'll say 3 hours tomorrow. And then, so by noon, or by lunchtime, which I usually take a lunch at 1, hopefully we can get the decking done tomorrow before noon. And then I can come out after noon, build the headache rack and the rubber rails. And then I guess it's actually done. So, yeah. Oh, and then the doors. I knew I was forgetting something. Then I got to bend the doors, which that doesn't really take a lot of time because we have the break. So that's probably an hour-ish there. Excuse me. It's been freaking cold here. It's been like 20 degrees all day. I will say, actually, the nice thing about having a small shop, and it's better when this one's insulated, but it's still pretty good now because the walls are fairly insulated, so if there's no breeze, it holds heat decent. Anyways, the nice thing about it is if you're welding or running the plasma table or any of it, even with the window and the exhaust fan on, it gets pretty toasty in here. I mean, it will keep about 20 degrees warmer in here just by working than it will outside. So like today it's been 20 degrees outside. Yeah, it's been really kind of nice in here. At one point my toes got cold, but that's about it. And you just bundle up and you do okay. Let's see, what's other news? What is other news? It's really kind of all I can think about right now. We've just been working. Oh, our giveaway. Have not heard from the winner. I don't know if maybe they just don't want it or what. I don't know. So let's see. What is today? I don't know if this will tell me. Today's the 11th. I gave him 5 days, so if I don't hear from him by the end of tomorrow, we're gonna redraw. And I have done. I have tagged him. I've tried to reach out on comments. He has to know. I mean, unless he just hasn't been on YouTube in the past 4 days, he has to know that I reached out to him because I went through and every time he's commented on a post, which he's commented on a few of them, I tagged him. I tagged him in the winter video. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Again, he might just not want it. I mean, it's possible. Gotta check that. I need to turn it off. Because there's a lot of guys who watch this channel who don't do metal fab. So, I mean, it's very possible that it's just not a tool he'll use, and he's just gonna maybe, yeah, I don't know. But I guess it's his loss. Maybe he just knows he won't use it, so he just isn't reaching out. I don't know. Kind of feel like he could say, hey, just, let somebody else draw and win it. I don't care, but it's just kind of weird because if you didn't want to win it, why would you enter? I mean, I get it. It's free, and maybe you just want to see if you can win, I guess. But so I guess there's still hope. He's got about, I'll give him 24 hours. I'll give him until tomorrow's Thursday, Friday. If I wake up Friday morning and I haven't heard from him, we're just gonna redraw. At this point, I doubt, unless the winner, which we do have a lot of people who watch and live in Michigan, unless you're a Michigan resident, and I don't think you'll probably get the giveaway before Christmas. But I guess you can hope, but I don't really see how it would happen. But again, yeah, you can hope. But I think it's still a cool thing that we did. And then probably either end of the month or beginning of next month I will purchase the tool that we're gonna test out for a potential giveaway um, for the July 4th giveaway. And we'll just see. We'll just see if it's a handy tool to have and how much I use it. I'm thinking a mag drill, and I'll be honest, I can pretty much dial holes pretty quick and easy and accurate with the plasma table. So I don't know how much I'll use a mag drill. I'll probably use it more on the welding truck than I would, because obviously when I'm out doing repairs, you don't have a mag drill. So I would probably use it more then. Need to use it for the table. And we'll just see how it holds up and what we can do with it. But I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm sure there's other things that I could think of that it'd be nice to have a mag drill, but honestly, off the top of my head, it's hard to come up with anything that I would need it for, other than the table. I really don't know. So, yeah, we'll probably get one and play around with it, or we might get a tubing roller. That I know I would use more. It's a little bit more expensive, so maybe, but maybe we'll do it. I don't know. After this truck, like I said, we have another flatbed to build. We have, let's see, they ordered 46, so we have 30 more boxes to build, aluminum boxes to build. So this truck, flatbed, aluminum boxes, and then it sounds like 2 more flatbeds. Between all that work, we started buying materials for our own new welding truck, our new welding flatbed, which I'm super excited for, and super excited. I've been trying to buy 2 or 3 flatbeds at one time, just so I have material on hand to build them. And like with this one being a dually, it eats a little more material. But yeah, so we're just kind of playing around with that. I'm excited to start building our own bed. I'd really like to put it on in the spring, but we kind of gotta. The holidays are always tough because we don't really move tons of, we don't do tons of work during the holidays, so it is hard to. January, February, you pretty much got to get it hard to make up for the loss of income from the holidays. So, which sucks, because at the first few years, it was like you don't hardly really do anything. This year, we've done okay, but we'll see how it goes. I don't really want to be out here all the time. I'd like to just have at least one day a weekend off. But it's one of them things, like eventually, you can't ignore the maintenance on your stuff, and my truck needs a new bed, it needs new axles, it needs a new front end, the front end fenders and hood and grill. I think the grill's fine, but I think the grill's the only thing that's fine. It needs a new bumper, fenders, hood, and headlights. So I guess the only thing that is good is the grill. But so yeah, so that's a lot of it's a lot of work to do on the truck, but I really want it looking sharp at the beginning of the year, especially because I know if I don't do it, this winter, good chance it don't get done. Same thing, tractor's been on hold. I got all them emergency jobs, and that was pretty much it. I couldn't really do anything about it. I had to go do them, which means I've been out here late. Usually I try to quit around 5 and go work on the tractor. Haven't had a chance to. Just been too busy. But is what it is, I suppose. Has anybody got any questions tonight? I know one guy, he sent in a question on a comment. He was asking. He gave a list of equipment that he has, and he was wondering if he could break into doing some welding work with the equipment he had. I think he was thinking mobile. He didn't outright say it, I don't recall, but I'm comfortable in saying he was thinking mobile because um, he said he didn't have a generator or anything. Here's the thing: if you don't have a engine drive welder, a generator that can run a welder is like $1,000. How quick can you come up with $1,000? Do it and then start doing some mobile work. I wouldn't. Some guys say you could rent a generator. I wouldn't recommend that just because you never know what you're getting. But if that's all you need, because it sounded like he had a buzz box, his MIG welder, angle grinders, bandsaws, things of that nature. If that's what you got, man, just either try to sell some stuff you're not using and get yourself a generator and get going. Or if you have a garage, and you're capable, just start doing some work out of your home garage. I mean, you could make $2-3 grand easy that in a couple months. You get things going, and then you could go buy an engine drive welder, and then you're kind of off to the races at that point. But yeah, so yeah, I'm very big in advocating and just work with what you got. I mean, I'm sitting in a 400 square foot shop. I use a Hobart MIG welder a lot of the time. It's the Handler 210. I have ran hundreds of pounds of wire through it. In fact, I usually run about 10 pounds of wire through it a week. And it has never let me down. Sometimes I notice when it's really cold and you pull that trigger for the initial time and the wire don't want to come out real as fast. There's kind of a delay now, but once the machine warms up, it's pretty much ready to go. But yeah, so you could do that. I don't really use an angle grinder as much anymore outside of a flap disc. I'm moving over to bandsaws, but that's a route too. You could do that. So there's definitely options. Just don't be afraid to get out there and just start doing something. I know there's a saying, but it's escaping my memory right now. But basically, if you're gonna be a hard nose and wait till everything's perfect, you're always gonna be waiting. I started this whole thing with like $5,000. I had $5,000. I had a used generator, a used set of torches, bought a new angle grinder, bought some welding wire, or some welding rod rather. My welder was my Lincoln TIG 200, so I could TIG weld with it. I could stick weld with it. Didn't have a MIG welder. Oh, that's not true. I did have a what was it? A Clark EN 130. So it wasn't really good for much. It had like a 6-foot lead on it, and you could do sheet metal with it pretty much. I think I maybe repaired a couple boilers with it. How, I don't even really know, because it's just not enough amperage. But yeah, so I had my new Lincoln TIG 200, a used set of torches, a grinder, bought some PPE and some consumables. I owned a truck. The truck, when I bought it, and actually it's the same truck I'm driving today, I bought the truck for $2,000. And I ran out of the bed that it had. And then when I made a little money, that was the first thing. I just built like a standard flatbed, and I built a toolbox. My neighbor had rough sawn some lumber, so I bought some rough sawn lumber from him, and I built a toolbox and painted it black, so if you were just glancing at it, you couldn't tell that it was just wood. And then I could throw my tools in there, and built a little platform so everything sat high, and I could slide a 4-foot wide sheet under the platform, and ran with that. And then I had more money, and I bought an old Lincoln Weldon Power engine drive welder, and got that running, used it on a few jobs, then sold the generator, took a few jobs, profit, they weren't big jobs, sold the generator, sold the Lincoln Weldon Power, went out and bought a new Hobart Champion Elite, ran that for like a year and a half, and then started furnishing this shop. We have a 5x10 table with a 3/8 top. That $2,000 truck and that Hobart Champion welder paid for that. And then we bought a Crossfire Pro plasma table. That cheap rig and welder paid for that. Then we built a brake. Same thing. That cheap welder and that cheap truck paid for that. And then you get a little shop work going. And same thing with my Hobart MIG welder. That cheap truck and that cheap welder paid for that. In fact, 95% of what you see in here, that cheap truck and that cheap welder paid for that. But the Lincoln 305G that's on my truck now, that cheap welder and that cheap truck paid for that. So I guess moral of the story is just work with what you got, and then it's definite. You can kind of, if you go and get, I've known a few guys who just go and get tremendously giant loans to start a business, and you can kind of mask when you have this giant income of money or a giant loan. You can kind of mask if things are working or not, because you just have this pile of money to bank off of, and yes, you're paying a bank note on it, but you have liquid there. Whereas if you're just working with cash to get to the next step, there has to be the cash. So you have to perform on the step you're at in order to get to the next step, and then you have to perform at that step to get to the next step, and every time you can take a bigger step, but then the steps start getting bigger, but doing it with cash is, I think, personally, my opinion, where it's at. So I guess that's my spiel. That's my story for the day. Yeah, I'm gonna head in. It's 10 o'clock. I've been out here for like 12 hours, so I'm ready to go in night. It's been out here in 20-degree weather for 12 hours. I'm ready to go to bed, get up, and come do like 16 hours tomorrow. Woohoo! But yeah, so again, if by tomorrow night I don't hear from our lucky winner, we're just gonna redraw, and hopefully whoever we get, they want it. So, anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video. Cheers.